pride really is the devil. Cause Volkanovski just got publicly executed by the chosen one, Topuria, just like I said would happen. And the reason for that loss is as simple as that: arrogance. Not just a bit of a confidence or a little bit of trash talk to hype the fight up. No, pure delusion. The guy thought he was invincible. Even after the Islam lost, he had a safety net. Oh, it was short notice, lightweight. I was depressed and I was drinking. But that was the whole issue. You have a dedicated 27 years old in front of you, and he's ready to kill. And you think that just because you snapped back for this training camp, now you're not drinking anymore, now you're getting serious. You thought it was going to be enough? But it wasn't enough. You laughed at everyone when we said that the 35 years old curse was real. He was going to be the one to break it. You laughed at people saying he was going to be coming back too soon. Now we got back-to-back KO losses. You laughed at Ilya changing his bio, but saying that he was going to be the one to make him change, but now he's the one who had to change it. He knew himself that everything was going against him, and rather than sit, relax, recover, take it more serious, he thought that he would just hop in there after an alcoholic phase 3 months after the knockout and against an undefeated power puncher. He called him mid and laughed at his confidence. Now, I'm not saying all of this was the reason he got knocked out. Honestly, that punch would put anyone out, welterweights included, but he kind of set himself up. This could have went way smoother if he just took his time, took Ilya more serious. This could have maybe been avoided. And now he's saying he wants a rematch? This won't go well for him at all. You can't half-ass it. You've been drinking, living life, while there's a contender grinding twice, 3 times a day. Volk thought he could never fail, but reality hit. Now he's gonna be a shell of himself. If you thought luck was against him for this fight, now add another year layoff on top of another KO. It's done. It's over with. Volkanovski gonna go down like Tony if he keeps going. He's gonna fight Ilya again, lose again, move up, lose to Dustin or Justin or whatever, move back down, lose to fucking Bryce Mitchell at 39 years old, and then retire. All of that because he was too cocky to accept the fact that he was actually in danger against Topuria. So like J. Cole said it best, pride is the devil. Worst part is, Volk was actually doing fine, but you could see he was overthinking it a bit. He was in his head the whole fight, sweating while Topuria just stalked him. Man, Volkanovski made a huge mistake. He basically gambled his whole career away. It's like me when I put a 5 legs under the parlay for $50 hoping it pays out $5K. It's not realistic. You can't lose to Islam the way you lost and then come back 3 months later saying that Topuria's got nothing for you and just expecting to go right through him. He's an undefeated power puncher with all the skills in the world. Everything Volk said he wouldn't do or say, he's now doing it after the fight. He said his last fight didn't affect him and that he was gonna remind us real quick of who he is. But now in his new video, oh, it's like I had 2 minds in there. That's so backwards. In the post-fight, he said he was feeling good. He felt like he was starting to open up and was getting ready to like implement his game plan. But now he's like, oh, I was fighting not to get caught. Like, I don't know what happened, but I think the first Islam fight really made him feel like invincible. Not realizing that, yes, he put the performance of a lifetime, but Islam was also super depleted. Like, he had less time to rehydrate, he was jet lagged, and so many reasons he could have used, but he stayed silent. But we'll never know, because where he could have waited for the rematch, he put himself in harder circumstances. Maybe he has a cushion. In case he lost again, he could have just said, oh, well, it was short notice and just close the chapter and run off with that. But people started hyping him up so much after that Islam fight that now every time he gets caught a little bit like against Yair, or even if he loses now against like Islam the second time or Topuria, it's always, oh, I felt like I was ahead but I got caught. I wasn't feeling like myself in there. But trust me, I'll get it right this time. But when we ask him about all of that before the fight, it's like, no, he's making us feel crazy for saying those things. Oh, he likes being against the odds. That's where he thrives. The rules don't apply to him. He's above that, you know. He's never gonna go out of prime. The 35-year-old thing is a scam. Like, all of this, like his whole, I wasn't myself in there. It's starting to become kind of redundant, you know, because that's the whole principle of being out of prime. It's not feeling like yourself or like you used to feel. That's the second time in a row he's using that excuse. And not just that, He's using it after the fight, when before the fight he's dismissing everyone who even mentions it. Before the fight it's like, oh Volk, that short notice fight might be dangerous. And he's like, nah, that's only gonna make me more aggressive and I don't got nothing to lose, so we better do something about it. And after the fight it's like, obviously I'm a huge believer in preparation, I would have liked more time. And before the Ilya fight it's like, Volk, you just got knocked out. Is that not gonna make you more hesitant or maybe affect your game plan? And he's like, nah, I'm back in my division to remind everyone. Last time was a special case. There's nothing Ilya does that I haven't seen, and I've shaken everything off in camp. There's gonna be no hesitation. And after the fight it's like, well, I was hesitant, the last fight was still in my head and I was fighting not to get caught. Volkanovski is definitely an all-time great. Don't get me wrong, but he really doesn't handle losing well. I've never seen a fighter other than maybe him and Izzy being as passive-aggressive with excuses. He's the archetype of the, I'm not making excuses, but, like, the guy clearly doesn't handle losing, and he can't fathom the fact that there's a new up-and-comer the same way Connor did this to Aldo, or that he did to Max. It's now his turn to go, but he just doesn't want to accept it. So for a guy who dismissed every reason people had to think that he might lose this fight in the build-up, he really dismissed everything. He made us feel like fools for even thinking that or suggesting that. For a guy who had this mindset going in, to come out with those excuses afterwards is kind of pathetic. And if that's the mindset he's gonna approach this next fight with, I don't really care for a rematch. But you guys let me know what you think. As usual, I'm open to the debate in the comments, and thank you for watching. You should go outside.